Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. I hope you can hear me. It's a little windy today, so forgive all the wind noise. I am desperately in the garden, still trying to plant stuff that I have neglected because of, all the moving, all the reorganizing, all the trying to straighten up and start anew. So if you'd like to see what I'm doing in the garden today, stay tuned.
Don't you cry, just let go of your opinion. And when you fall
Onions that I need to plant. Let me show you all that. As you can see probably through the bag, some of them are sprouting, and I need to get these onions in the ground. Just so much I need to do, and that's the next thing, so let's get at it. What I've done is I've actually taken my cups that I tried to start some food in the garage, and I dumped them out in the containers. And these containers consist of soil from those cups. Now, I haven't seen any germination yet, so those seeds are probably not viable. They probably died, or they just were old and weren't good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and reseed these pots with my whatever I've got on the tag, because to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. I put so much stuff on these tags, I have no idea what's what. But for right now, I'm just going to take these onions, and as you can see, they are beginning to sprout. So I'm just going to place them along the corners, and the soil is soft. I watered it last night. I'm not going to sow them deeply. I'm just going to push them in the soil just a little bit so that the roots have contact, and that way when they begin to take root, hopefully the birds won't pull it out, but when they begin to take root, it won't be so hard to go around the bulb and release the soil from the bulb so they can bulb out, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys that as time goes on and they grow. I'm hoping that they do grow. I do apologize for my neighbor's dog. I guess it just got outside and it's not happy about being outside. So let me take off the sound, and that way you don't have to hear that, and I'll show you me planting up. Okay, now that he's stopped barking, I can get back to what I was doing. Now I just had to pour the onions out because I was trying to take them out of the bag and gingerly put them in here. That wasn't working. Can you all see what I'm doing? Can you see? I can't see if y'all can see. Let me go over here. There we go. Sorry about that. My skills today are not great, but I'm just taking the root part, poking it in the soil like that. Can you see that? Just slightly moving the soil a little bit and firming around. And I'm going to move on to the next pot. The best thing I found to do with onions is to pick out the largest and plant that. You tend to have greater success. However, if all you have are tiny little bulbs, plant what you have. I have planted all of these red ones, and now I have, well, all but one. I found one in the bottom of my container here, my little harvest basket. So I'm going to finish planting this one and the rest of these. And like I was mentioning, you plant with the root side down, and you just put roughly, let me take my glove off so you all can see. You put roughly this much of the onion in the ground, and then the roots will take hold. You can put up to a half, but you don't want to bury your onion completely, because as your onion begins to grow and swell, you're going to have to release some of that soil around it to give your onion a chance to swell. And once it starts to swell, then you're cooking with Crisco, baby. So I am going to plant the rest of these. I have actually put all of the red ones in the buckets along the back fence, and so now I'm going to put these in the containers that are flanking the cattle panels. So let's go over there. If you haven't noticed, I've been dumping out the little red solo cups, into my containers, trying to get those seeds and that soil back into the garden because they were not successful inside the greenhouse in the garage. And so in this one I had artichokes, but I am going to put onions all the way around the perimeter of this container and hopefully save enough. Well, I'll save enough for some others. I want to make sure that I'm companion planting correctly and that I'm not just putting onions in a container where the other seed I sow isn't going to do well with it. So you got to make sure that when you're companion planting, that what you're planting together is going to work well together. So let's plant some onions here. Now, I'm not worried about whether or not the onion's a large onion or a small onion. I'm just going to just plant these onions. And as you can see, I did not submerge it. I did roughly about half just to be safe, because the birds, those jokers, they will come and pull out your onions. That one's not doing so well. Let me try again. Make sure it's seated nicely. And see, this one is not a very big one. I hope you all can see. It's not a very big one, but it's sprouting nicely. So I'm just going to place it inside of the soil. Now, I watered last night, but for some reason this soil is giving me a little bit of resistance. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't water enough. I did water though. Hopefully I got this one. It was late. I was out here last night with my little headlamp on, watering in the dark. That's either dedication or foolery. I did that too deep, so let's try that again. There we go. I tend not to want to garden at night because critters come out at night and you don't want to walk up on something. So be careful if you're going to garden at night. It had just turned dark, so it wasn't like midnight that I was in the garden. The sun had just gone down and I wasn't finished with my projects yet. I was watering. So there we go. Hope you all can see what I'm doing. I'm giving them a little bit of space because, like I said, I put a pot in here or a cup in here that I thought might have had some artichoke. It probably was no good because it didn't do anything in the house. So I'm just going to put some onions here and I'm going to keep going down that way. So let's go over there. I plan to put climbers in these containers over here. So I need to double check. I don't want to put onions in here just in case the onions and beans don't do well together. So I'm going to go behind me and put some onions in that. Put some purple asparagus roots in here, but they've done absolutely nothing. I don't think they were alive when I bought them. I soaked them, I planted them, I've been watering them, and nada, no show. And when I planted my green, I think they're called Martha Washington asparagus, they popped up really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take these out and I'm going to pot this up with something else until I can find a suitable replacement for those purple asparagus. I really would love some purple asparagus, but up until I can find it, I'm not going to let this pot sit empty. So I'm going to add some onions. I'm going to move this wood chip out of the way. I actually planted the asparagus right along the center and nothing's popping up. Absolutely nothing. Just a waste of my money. My goodness. This is like the third time I've purchased, and I'm just gonna say it, I purchased these 3 times from Tractor Supply, and each and every time they are dead. I don't know what is going on with Tractor Supply, but I need for them to get their act together when it comes to these purple asparagus. They have never done anything, and I did what was suggested. You soak them, you plant them, absolutely nothing. So those are going to go in the compost bin because I can't do anything with them. I've waited. This is my 3rd try. And I would say if it was me, if I did something and jacked it up, but no. I've got worms in here. I've got a beautiful worm right there. You all can't see it and I won't take it out. I know some people are really squeamish when it comes to worms. so I won't take it out. So I'm going to take these out and toss them down on the ground and just make room for my onions, because I have other things to grow, and I can't wait for something that's obviously dead. If anyone else has experienced that with Tractor Supply and their purple asparagus, put it down in the comment section. Other people need to know. This is, again, not my first season, not my first purchase, and each and every time, this is the second season, and this is the third purchase, and just complete and utter waste of cash. I have some containers over here that I am going to sow some peppers in, and I have one somewhere where a tiny little pepper popped up, and I think the cup that I dumped out that had, of course they all had seeds in them, but I think that seed was viable. So I've got one tiny little pepper that was growing, but I looked at it just a few moments ago, and it appears that something is trying to eat it. It's eating the leaves. So I'm just going to continue to go around the garden like this and sow all of my onion bulbs or onion sets until I have sown them all, and then I will move on to the next project. So I'm not going to keep you all with the rest of these, but I want to say thank you so much for joining me in the garden. I appreciate you coming back each and every time I drop a video. So I'll see you either in the kitchen or the garden real soon. I've got more planting to do, so I'll see you later. Bye. You all see that little bitty thing right there? That is a pepper seedling. However, something has chewed off its leaves. Darn it!